Hi everyone, it's Adam here. What I wanted to put to you today is that when it comes to student behaviour, I think we give up far too easily in schools. And I want to unpack for you how that looks, because there's a particular sentence in teacher vernacular that I want to make it my mission to eliminate before I finish my career in helping teachers, that's for sure. I've got a little graph that I want to present to you, and it's going to come up on the screen now that outlines a bit of what I'm talking about. So what I want you to do is to imagine this graph, and that's about the idea that we can measure the severity of a behaviour on a scale from 0 to 10 on one side. We can also see how that actuates over time. So we might be talking about a particularly difficult student whose behaviour we would rate as a 7 or 8 out of 10, and you can see them represented by that thin dotted blue line that runs along from about 7 or 8 out of 10 there. Now when we get to the first star, something happens, and that's we try something new. We come up with a well thought out, considered, possibly using a piece of research, possibly using a piece of practice that a colleague has used, and we come up with a plan that we might have to do something differently with a particular student. Now that behaviour that might be frustrating us could be attention-seeking behaviour. So one of the activities that you might try is to ignore some of that attention-seeking behaviour. We then need to think about what we might expect. And that's what this graph is all about. It's about an intervention expectation. So when we intervene with a new strategy, do we think that it's going to get better immediately? Well, in schools we know that's not usually the case. Usually what happens is we'll get that student up the ante. If they've been looking for attention from you and getting attention from you, then you start to ignore them, they'll up the ante, the voice will get louder, they'll get more aggressive, they'll get more in your face trying to get your attention in any way that they possibly can. So we can see that that red dotted line means that the behaviour becomes more severe. We then get to the most critical point in terms of behaviour and well-being in our schools, the second star. And at this point, we have several decisions we can make. The first one is to do what I contend we do far too often and that we get wrong in schools. And we say something which is that sentence I want eliminated. And that is, I tried that and it didn't work. Now at this point there's only two things that can happen from here. Number one is that we'll follow the red line, which means we've established now for that student a brand new normal which is higher than it was previously. If we're lucky, we'll follow the purple line. And very quickly everyone will go, oh, take a deep breath, and we'll go back to exactly where we were. We've had no improvement. We've made significant effort and gone through some significant annoyance to make sure that that behaviour goes absolutely nowhere. If, however, we persist at this point, what we will find is that at a slower rate, with a well-considered, well-researched, well-thought-out piece of intervention, that at a slower rate, that behaviour will start to improve. And over a period of time, we will dip below the blue dotted line and establish where that green line is a different kind of normal. Now you'll notice that there's still plenty of gap there. There's still plenty of space below that green line and 0. We're not talking about miracles here. We're talking about, over time, being able to develop behaviours and being able to develop interventions that cause an improvement in the frequency and the severity of problem behaviours. There is no magic bullet here, and it's time that we started to stick with ideas and stick with plans that really make a difference. I hope that graph's useful to you, and I hope that as you embark upon term 2 of 2013, that you have a great time and that you do start to get that improvement in frequency and severity that we're all looking for with those kids that challenge us the most. Good luck.